Hey everyone, Jake here again. We are pumping out these roundtables back to back to back every week so far for the last few weeks. This time we have, let's start off with our very special guest, Dylan Tellum from AbMat. He's here. He wanted to have a conversation with some creators about a number of different topics, which we will dive into later. But some of those things are just like what's working in the content creator world. How can he work better with them? We'll talk product knockoffs. We'll talk about the future of the home gym community, etc. So Dylan is kind of the reason we are here. So we appreciate his enthusiasm about chatting with people like us. So that's one. We also have Kurt. He's back again, aka the Kurt Locker. We have John Greaves III from Garage Gym Life. No Fate 247. Some know him as Jonathan. And then we have Keith, also known as the known wine seller. So we have a kind of combination of some of the roundtables we've had in the past as well. We had a few back out. It would have been a huge group, but this number feels right. So before I go into the questions, while we have Dylan here, I just want to make a quick announcement about something that AbMat's going to be doing at HomeGymCon next April. So they have their 400 square foot booth that they decided to get for next year, but then they added 200 additional square feet. And I'm not sure the proportions of what it's going to be, but Dylan decided to do some. He wanted to go above and beyond from what he did last year, and just wanted to stand out a little bit as well. And we kind of brainstormed and kind of came up with the AbMat Innovation Station at HomeGymCon. So some of the details are still kind of being worked out, but basically what it's going to give certain people an opportunity to do is there will be an application that they'll fill out, but they'll have if you are an inventor or you have something for the home gym community, maybe you don't have a specific brand yet, but you have something that you want to display or get feedback on. That's what the AbMat Innovation Station will be for at HomeGymCon. So we'll decide upon how many actual people can do this. But keep it in mind keep that in mind if you have a product idea and maybe you want a goal to have it released by a certain date, that might be a good thing. But it'll be cool. I'm guessing there'll be a handful of inventors at the AbMat booth that have some sort of product to showcase, and people can come by and test it out. Did I get that right, Dylan?
You know, the whole point behind this was kind of inspired by last year's Home Gym Con. We had a couple of people that came out there with the intent of just meeting us over at AbMat and showing us their products. And I know just as well as anybody, could be a costly endeavor to set up a whole booth. It's daunting, especially if you have a limited portfolio or a small product line. We just really wanted to give an opportunity to show that AbMat is invested in innovation within the garage gym space and give independent inventors, tinkerers, ideators an opportunity to show products, whether it's a crayon drawing, an idea, present them to us, talk to us about them, garner some advice, display the products to anybody out there. This is absolutely free. There's absolutely no cost for anybody. There's nothing that they need to do. There's no qualifiers really, other than that they have some type of product to show or display. But we just wanted to attach it to what we do because, innovation within the home gym community is a large part of what AbMat does. So I think this is going to be a good space and a really good opportunity in the premier home gym convention out there to kind of get some of those products to the market, or at least to show them to the people who can help you bring them to market. So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome idea. That should be fun. All right, let's roll right into. Why are you laughing, Kurt?
The premier home gym conference is. It just sounds really good. I'm not upset.
Love it. I'm not sound good.
Nope.
All right, let's roll right into the first question though. So this one, the the bulk of the question is for Dylan, and then we'll have a conversation after. But Dylan, you are part of AbMat, and you've had some of your products knocked off in the past, not just recently, but for the last few years. It seems like it's on Amazon and other companies with just other larger companies with products that are very similar to yours. Can you give us your perspective on what product knockoffs do to the home gym industry?
It's really a double-edged sword, right? I'm a capitalist through and through. Don't get me wrong. I believe in competition. It creates, a certain level of playing field that is constantly getting better. But I do believe that there's better ways to go about it. I believe in a model of which I call collaborative capitalism. Collaborative capitalism is a model in which I believe in, where you can exist within the confines of modern day capitalism, but open up a company that's not based off of how much money a single person at the top can make. It's about a collective of an entire community that can provide ideas and develop products and new sources of information which can be marketed, and everybody gets a piece based off of their contributions. It's a utopian idea that I peddle every single day of my life that may never occur. But at the very least, today alone marks the 7-year anniversary of my involvement within the fitness industry. October 4th, 2016 is when I started. And I can't speak for what the industry was like before I got here, before AbMat started with its business model of, collaboration over competition. But from what I have seen, the home gym community has more collaboration today than it did 5 years ago. And it's not just because AbMat's collaborating with other companies. Other companies are also collaborating with independent inventors. You're seeing it from content creators. You're seeing it from independent inventors. You're seeing it from companies collaborating with each other. It's taking subject matter experts. People are collaborating with AbMat just on the foam components of their products. I'm working with some of the largest companies that are in the United States right now, just on their foam implements of their products. They're making a new metal contraption, yada, yada, whatever it is, but it has a small piece of foam. They're not doing it themselves. They're coming to AbMat because they know we specialize in that. And people are, heeding the advice of others and the collaboration aspect. And I think it's turned into a much more user-friendly environment that's less cutthroat. So in terms of knockoffs, there's a lot of different realms of knockoffs, right? There's the people who are just data and analytic gurus that spend all of their time figuring out what sells the most on Amazon, sending it over to China, knocking it off by $5 or $10, running some ads or whatever. These people I consider them some of the worst people on the planet. Personally, just for me, because of what they do, not only that affects my company and my employees, but the inventors in which I help represent in some capacity. It's hurtful to know that, some of these products that we spend tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars developing with business practices that I consider to have a high level of morality are being undercut by just a few dollars. Amazon's a different animal all on its own, right? These people are not brands. These are just data people that find out what's selling. These guys are selling anything from salt shakers to knockoff, barbell bombs on Amazon. So Amazon has a reputation of allowing that to happen, making it very, very, very hard to shut down some of these companies, even though I have patents, I have trademarks. I've got American-made tools that I spent $20,000 developing, pumping out parts that I'm trying to, continue to sell customers. It's very difficult, and Amazon doesn't make it easy, but it makes it very easy when you start selling your product on Amazon for companies to kind of figure out how much money you're actually making off these things and determine whether or not it's something that they want to do. It's just a money ploy. They don't care about the quality of the product. They don't care that they're literally stealing our designs, stealing from our inventors, their descriptions for SEO, or they don't care at all that they literally take our photos and Photoshop their product over it with our models using the product. You can see it even on Alibaba. These websites are hosting, they're giving you the opportunity to easily screw over independent inventors and small companies within the United States. Now, don't get me wrong. Amazon, I believe, has its pluses and minuses. If you're a small company out there that just has no sales, no website, nothing, launching on Amazon is potentially a really good idea. One company I know that's super successful on Amazon from the get-go was Microgains. He started selling his plates on there because he had no audience. He had no owned audience that he could sell his product to. He didn't have 50,000 people on Instagram. He didn't have 20,000 people on an email blast. He didn't have large-scale distribution relationships that AbMat has worked very hard to establish and maintain over the last 20 years. So it's very beneficial for a launch. God forbid you get successful. Your first concern is who's going to knock you off on the small end of things. Your next concern, if you get really successful, is when is Amazon going to knock it off on their own? And that's not a fight anybody in the world would ever pick up and try to go after these guys. So when you talk about knockoffs, a lot of people will call out the companies that are knocking off our products on Amazon. I don't consider them companies. I consider them vultures within the industry that are trying to make a quick buck, regardless of the quality of their offerings. So what hurts the most within the community is when companies with a reputation and a name go out of their way to knock off another product. Now, and I'm not talking about, just a cheap variation of it. I mean, a blatant, complete knockoff of a design, especially with a trademark that creates market confusion, because it hurts, not only personally, but it hurts the companies together. I can assure you the companies in which I'm thinking of that have knocked off AbMat products recently, their brand value has diminished to a much greater return than they will ever make off of selling those two products, or two products, any of the products in which that they're selling, So I don't believe in bashing other companies to try to put myself ahead. I do believe in promoting innovation and backing up innovators, right? And I don't ever want to come off as AbMat is not going to stand behind the inventors and fight for them when some other company that has a reputation of that's perceived as high value within the industry does something as egregious as knock off some of our products and use some of our trade names that creates market confusion. It hurts. I'm sure all of you are sitting here thinking about the most recent one that we're all very familiar with Alico. It hurt me personally because it goes against everything that I fight for every single day, which is collaboration, which in a sense, collaboration is the greatest form of competition, right? If you collaborate with each other, you eliminate your competition and everybody can make money, right? I still wholesale all of my products. You can buy and resell any one of them as long as you have a reputation of being a reputable company. I don't sell to companies that knock off people that I work with. I don't sell to companies that have a long-going portfolio of knockoffs. I don't, just because it doesn't promote what it is that we're trying to build, which is a more user-friendly, less cutthroat environment for the home gym community as a whole. AbMat has I don't know if I can't speak for AbMat personally, but AbMat does not have an official opinion on what occurred in the past couple of weeks. AbMat is the most apolitical, unopinionated company that you'll ever meet. And we try to maintain that as firmly as possible because we want to work with everybody. I still want to work with everybody. And I'm willing to let other companies who have created market confusion correct those because I believe in second chances, but I do not believe in thirds. So I will continue to give people the benefit of the doubt and hope that our model will prevail. When a company of a large-scale reputation knocks off one of our products, I don't wake up every day and think of how can I grow AbMat and how can I destroy them. It's not a thought process for me. It still continues, how can I continue to provide value to my inventors and grow the AbMat brand and spread this message of collaboration over competition? That's what I focus on every single day. Every single move that I make is based upon that strategy and that strategy alone. I get a lot of people that say, AbMat products are pricey. Some of them are. I'm not going to disagree with you. Some of them are a little more expensive than I wish that I was selling them for, but it's based off of numbers. It's what it cost us to make it in the United States, price it for wholesale to keep it open for collaboration. And when somebody buys an AbMat product, it's an investment, right? There's a difference between buying a Rogue rack and a Titan rack. When you buy a Rogue rack, let's just say it's $800 and you want to sell it tomorrow, it's still worth $700. You buy that Titan rack for $400, it's worth $100 if somebody's even searching for it on Facebook Marketplace. In terms of value add, the Rogue rack's a better deal, right? AbMat products are name brand goods, so they maintain their value a little bit better as well. But when we sell a product, it's not like I'm going out and buying a Maserati. I drive a 2011 Honda Accord with 212,000 miles on it. Every single one of our dollars sits in a bank account and goes into our next innovation. It cost $250,000 to make the first ever foam molded medicine ball. We didn't do that because we knew there was 50,000 of them being sold every single week on Amazon. We did it to see if we could, to test the boundaries of material science and what was to, question what's going to be. So an investment into an AbMat product is an investment into further innovation within the space, because we try to focus purely on innovation rather than variation. So I can't speak for all knockoffs, right? Some products are so egregiously priced throughout from the get-go that nobody ever buys them. And companies come in with variations of those that are more competitive and capture markets. I guess that's fair game. I think there's honorable ways of doing everything, and I believe in paying dues to the original inventors. So even if you want to make your own variation, it doesn't hurt to reach out and talk to me and ask, because you'd be surprised in how lenient we are and how much we want to promote innovation. It's hard to see a company like Alico do what they did. For me personally, this is me speaking on behalf of myself, not the company, because I'm Swedish. My great grandfather was the king of Sweden's pastry chef, and I've always felt this special kinship with this company that I always thought was highly innovative and exercised on a level of innovation and quality that was unmatched within the industry. When they come out with introducing 2 new products, in a way, I was first sad, just because it hurt. Then there was a short period of anger. But then I just, I kind of got to the point where I was like, you know what? I don't need to compete with this because we've already won. They're releasing products that we released years ago, with features that we've thought of, done, tested, tried, and realized they weren't the best features for the product, which is why they weren't implemented into our designs. When it comes to a foam roller that goes onto a bar, you don't think I tried it in a circle? That was the first one we did. You don't think we considered a beaded roller instead of the foam that we used? We did. There's no memory to a beaded roller. Once that gets stretched out, it's never going to fit on properly. And we didn't. I wanted to make the more expensive one that was made out of our urethane foam. Austin wanted to make the cheaper one. Both of them were a $30,000 investment. You know what we did? We did them both. Why? Because we didn't know which one the community was going to want. Turns out 4-1, the cheaper one sells higher than the premium one. Quite frankly, it's the one that I use, just because it's always right there next to the squat rack. But long story short, innovation has to be protected. And I don't think it needs to be protected from lawyers nor the government. I think that living in an environment where we just accept that means that we're not holding ourselves accountable enough as a community to affect the environment in which we want to live in, right? I believe in a world where every single person who wants to be involved in a community holds that community accountable. And the official opinion of AbMat on knockoffs has already been spoken, but it wasn't by me in this podcast. It wasn't by us on our portfolio. It wasn't by Austin, the president of the company, through an email blast. It was done through the comments by the people of the community. Because AbMat is an open source innovation company that relies on ideas from the community and helps shepherd them, right? The voice of the people is the voice of AbMat. And they spoke through the comments, they spoke through their posts, they spoke through their shares, they spoke on podcasts on their opinions of it, such as what you and Kurt did last week. And I got to tell you, I went from being sad and being hurt to looking at those comments and reading every single one of them and refreshing and being elated, knowing that what we've been doing and the work that I've been doing, Austin's been doing, and everyone over at AbMat and all the inventors that we work with has made a difference in some capacity or another. Small, large, grand scale, whether it will stand the test of time or be the new standard for this industry for the next 100 years, I don't know. But I'm going to continue to support innovators and innovation in any way we can. And, we're going to fight in a way that is collaborative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Good talk. Real quick, Dylan, that was deep, meaningful, and I loved it. I wrote down 2 notes. Jake, if you don't mind me just jumping in. So first off, do you remember that documentary with Jeff Bezos back when Amazon was like brand new? So this is a parallel between you and Jeff Bezos, which maybe is foreshadowing. But Jeff Bezos talked about his like 2002 Toyota Corolla or whatever the heck he was driving. He's like, it's a good car. It gets me from point A to point B. So same parallel, same thing. So Dylan Tellum is the next Jeff Bezos, and he's going to space. That's what I heard. All right. Yeah. So the second thing, and on a more like serious note, is this quote gets overused a lot, but President Kennedy made the quote that and I'm reading it because I'll screw it up, because a rising tide lifts all boats, and that actually was talking about the economy. And it seems to me that if you look at the collaborative environment that AbMat tries to foster, that is the intent of that environment, is that you are trying to create that rising tide, because it does raise all the ships. Like you said, you guys specialize in foam products, and there's a lot of other companies in we'll just call it the gym equipment arena, that specialize in different things. So like, find me someone who welds aluminum better than Cleva. Find me people that do things better than other companies. And what's nice about that is that you have like your hyper specialized stuff. So AbMat is foam, and you bring that and you help out where other manufacturers maybe don't have that specialization. And that's something that I think we value. And then obviously bringing that into the way that American manufacturing should work, is that we respect that intellectual property, and like respect those inventors, creators, innovators, and don't just rip off a company. Like you said earlier, if you reached out to AbMat, you probably would have been willing to collaborate. You know, if Alico in this particular one wanted to do maybe a take on a product, perhaps if they had reached out and coordinated, AbMat would have been willing to innovate a specific one. I'm not saying yes or no. I obviously don't speak for the company because I don't even work for the company. But I think that that's the attitude that you're saying.
We would have been elated, and we probably even would have paid for it.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about this is we pay an enormous amount of money every single year towards innovation because it offsets taxes, right? I'd rather pay for 5 new tools than pay the government a larger sum of money at the end of the year and buy that new car. What you're saying is completely accurate. I'm not going after, when they talk about a rising tide raising all ships, I'm not trying to go after a bigger piece of the pie, right? I'm not trying to take away somebody else's slice to make mine larger. I'm asking the question every day, can't we just make a bigger pie? That's the whole point of this, right? I'm not going after somebody else's business every single day with cutthroat intentions of trying to take away what their security is in their product line, right? No. If I have an idea of how to make XYZ's company's product better, I'm not going to make it and roll it out. I'm going to call that company and ask them if they want to work together on that project. There's right and wrong ways of doing things. It's hard to navigate sometimes, and it gets murky, and it's honestly has to be navigated by somebody who's elbows deep within the industry. They have to know what the current landscape is. They have to know where everybody's position is. They have to know the inner workings of every single independent inventor company, and their capabilities to be able to navigate these things in a way that makes sense to the overall consumer, right? I hear what you're saying, and I think you're 100% accurate.
I have a question.
Sure.
I did a lot of research on this, meaning I Googled it right before this started. So there's that. But what's the AbMat strategy for getting the products in brick and mortar stores? Just in the U.S.
Describe brick and mortar stores, like fitness stores that are selling equipment like Dick's Sporting Goods? Or...
Academy Sports, Dick's Sporting Goods. Anywhere where someone who's not embedded in our community, who's, I don't know, so 55 years old and is like, hey, I need to start working out. And
AbMat has zero presence in brick and mortar, from my knowledge. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I sell to a lot of different distributors that I consider them all e-commerce distributors, and some of them have brick and mortar presences. Like some of them are just small stores that are being like Buffalo that have a couple of fitness stores. Like here's a good example: G&G Fitness. So we work with the Gronkowskis, and G&G Fitness has 10, 11, 12 showrooms. and all of AbMat products can be seen in these showrooms, and they're resold there. But they're predominantly an online reseller. The truth of the matter is this market has turned into an online business, right? The Dick's Sporting Goods and the academies and all of these large big box stores made a fatal mistake 10, 15, 20 years ago, which was finding that they would make a lot more money if they not only owned the customer and the location, but they owned all the products and the manufacturers that sold within those companies, and housing them under their retail stores. And the interest in those brands started to dwindle as new opportunities arise, right? So I'm on the younger generation side. I'm 27 years old, right? People my age are a lot more invested into smaller brands with a mission, right? They like to have a why in what they do for a living. They have to have a why and why they do it, right? They got to have a why in the brands in which they support. It's more than just a pair of shoes or a piece of clothing or a product in a gym. There's passion behind it. There's brand loyalty. And a lot of these big box stores have they've kind of cornered themselves by only promoting their products, which has zero innovation because they're not in they're not in the space of innovative fitness equipment. They're in the sales route. They just happen to own, like Dick's Sporting Goods owns Ethos. And Ethos is just Chinese made stuff that is probably some product developer in China going onto Rogue's website saying, how can we make this for half the price? So we had an opportunity once AbMat, before I ever got there, to sell AbMats in Academy and Dick's Sporting Goods. You want to know what they offered us per AbMat? Not 5%, 5 cents per AbMat sold.
Jesus. That's a joke.
How are you going to run an American-made manufacturing business on a profit of 5 cents, right? This is not the peanuts. We're not going to be able to do that. So it didn't make economical sense. So we deviated from that, and we maintained our quality and perception of our products through selling it through reputable, high perception companies such as Rogue Fitness. Companies that they know when you're buying something from us, you're buying a good quality piece of equipment. So though I'd love to see a world where there are more independent brick and mortar stores, and I'd gladly sell to them if the proper company were to arise, I just don't know if there's a large enough regional market to support the big box brick and mortar stores in today's world. The ones that I've seen the most successful are actually used sellers of equipment. So there's a lot of these regional companies that resell used equipment. So like if a Major League Baseball team's closing down their gym rooms and redoing it with $50 million worth of new Nautilus stuff, all that stuff is sold in the secondary market by these wholesalers, and then they take it, they sit on it, and they resell it, and they make good margin, right? There's a guy out here named Jeff from Show Me Weights who makes a killing selling resell equipment, but he also sells new equipment. He doesn't house or inventory any new equipment in his facility. Maybe one or two little tiny pieces just for show, but it's not like they're keeping $10 million worth of equipment in their showroom. They sell the used equipment. They build relationships with all the local people. Then they go to these locations and they sell them on some used stuff and some new stuff. And they have basically wholesaler drop shipping agreements with some of the newer companies. So he puts in the order and he makes his vig, whatever it is. I don't know. It's a percentage of the sale. Yeah. But the most successful ones that I've seen are resellers of high quality pieces of equipment. But again, these are very knowledgeable people who know the value of older style training equipment. Okay. And we sell to several of those.
I got you. That makes sense. I was thinking more about, like, to me, as difficult as it is to see, people don't like intentionally buy knockoffs. Like they're not like screw AbMat or screw whoever. They buy what's affordable or what they perceive as affordable, what's readily accessible, and what's easy to understand.
Yeah.
And the population of the United States obviously is aging, but you have more and more people who are being, advised by their doctor, hey, go work out. You need to work out for all the reasons that we already know. Those people most of those people don't even know that any of us exist.
Yeah.
Because that's not their frame of reference.
Yeah.
And they're most likely to say, okay, well, where can I buy this stuff? Well, they're going to go where they already go for bread, milk, or they're going to Google. That's the ones who are forward thinking. They're going to Google it. A lot of people people are going to look in the phone book. And so you've got a large population of people with disposable income. Their kids are grown and gone. They've got disposable income. They're ready to set up a home gym maybe because they feel uncomfortable going into a public gym space. And the products that they're running into are the products that are stealing your ideas
Yeah.
because those products are there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say something that's never been said on one of your shows, Jake. Brace yourself. When I was you guys' age, I probably would have been thinking about people about my age. But now my perspective is different because now I'm looking at my dad who's headed for 80 years old,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm saying, hey, those people, that's a demographic. My mom who lives with me she lives with me and there's a home gym right there, but she won't use it, right? Because it's not her frame of reference. And so I'm just saying, well, if you want to expand and you want to make it so it's not cost effective for these people who are stealing ideas, then what you have to do is make yourself more readily accessible to people who would happily buy American if they knew that you existed. Because I mean, you pick somebody, or I'm 50, but if I weren't in this in this community, I wouldn't know about AbMat. So if you pick somebody who is 60 years old and say, hey, what's AbMat? They're going to be like, what? They're going to think of one of those decline sit-up bench things. You know what I mean? So that's because that's what was in magazines until the Ab Bench came out in like Iron Man magazine. But that's what I'm saying. Because I think that your company's doing an awesome thing. I love what you're doing for the community, what you're doing for creators, for people who have ideas. You know, you're just tinkering in your home gym and you come up with an idea. Man, it'd be nice if there was an easy way to, and you guys actually making it possible for those ideas to come to life. But then we have a bottleneck because we're selling to the same relatively small community of people who just want stuff because it's the flavor of the month.
Sure.
And there's a new colorway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally agree with that. You know, and one of the issues that I don't have a perfect answer for that because honestly, it's not something that I've given a lot of thought to. Right. I am, like I said, I'm 27 years old. I sell my products through an online retail store and through distribution. Right. So what I take, my distributors have a larger demographic than AbMat does. Right. We sell to a lot of different distributors. So depending on where you're at online, you can find AbMat products. Right. You're not going to see them in a Target or at Dick's Sporting Goods, but a lot of them are on Amazon now, which is a very, I know nothing about the fitness industry, good place to start, right? If you're looking for some home gym equipment. And some of our stuff is ranking very, very high, and if not the highest within those classes. So we are starting to get to a larger demographic. But again, I'm only familiar with what it is that I know, how I buy, how I shop, and how I show things, right? So we focus a lot of our marketing and advertising, actually all of our marketing and advertising solely on Instagram and Facebook. I don't even have a Facebook account, not one, right? I have an Instagram account, but our demographics, I think are the bulk majority, I think it's 78% of our followers are between the ages of like 18 and 40, right? So it's not a very large age group, and 70% are like males. Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to appeal to, I don't know if it's just the equipment because, we sell some products like the chest up pad, which is more specifically tailored towards females, and our pivot pad and hip thrust pad, which is, the hip thrust is predominantly a female movement, or it has been historically, that really appeal to a very large demographic of people. How do I reach them? I don't know. I'm not a 35-year-old female or a 50-year-old dude or an 80-year-old guy. I only know the perception of what it is that I am and how I buy, and that's basically how we've done our marketing. Yeah. It's probably a better long-term investment to be investing in the younger generation and the more current means of sales routes. Because even though there is an aging demographic, the way they buy is going to age as fast as they do. So as soon as if I found a way to sell to every single 80-year-old today, the 70-year-olds that come up 10 years from now might have an iPhone and shop online, So I
get that, but I'm telling you, like an 18-year-old doesn't have a house. So if he doesn't have a house, he doesn't have a home gym. And if you learn how to sell to the 60-year-old, right, they'll still want your stuff when they're 70 and they'll still have money. And they'll still want it when they're 80, right? And then their kids, based on how the age that people normally have kids, the kids might want your stuff because they grew up seeing, dad using it or whatever, because now their kids are 60 or 50 or whatever. I mean, I think that your strategy with the Instagram thing is good, because that's one of the ways that I found out about you guys. I just say that I wasn't saying it's not like a instead of.
Yeah.
It's more like a hey,
In addition to
this is you've been throwing jabs, they're not working. Throw a leg kick.
You're not wrong. You're 100% right. I know that we're selling to a very small demographic of very, very educated home gym owners, right? There's the home gym owners know AbMat and what we're about, right? And it's very strange for me, to go to an event like the CrossFit Games, where AbMat was the sponsor of the first ever CrossFit Games. There's 30 AbMats in every single CrossFit gym across the world, and there's 13,000 CrossFit locations. For reference, there's 12,000 Starbucks coffee stores in the world. There's more, right? So there's a lot of these things, and everybody's familiar with the AbMat. But when I show them our product portfolio, they go, "I had no idea you guys sold all of this stuff,"
Right.
And it's hard for me, because I'm not a marketer, right? Though I have marketing elements within my job title,
Sure.
It's not my profession. I focus on what can we make, what's the next product. But there's this strange perception of being an inventor or a product developer that once you create a product and you post it on your social media page to your 43,000 followers, you assume everybody in the world already just learned of this. They know about it. You don't have to show it again. You don't need to share that information again, but it's totally inaccurate, because that 43,000 followers will be shown to 4,300 and liked by 43. And truth be told, you only tapped 1% of your actual market that you own. So when our product launches hit, it's funny to see, because I'll post something to an account that has nearly 50,000 followers, and we'll get one or two sales that immediately trickle in, and then our email blast will go out. And the next thing you know, we go up to 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 units sold within the first day. And these are just people that have a higher interest in buying in a tent that are guaranteed to open it. Because when I send an email to 25,000 people, 25,000 people get the email. If I put a post out to 50,000 people, it's up to Instagram how many people are going to see it, and who in the world truly knows how to, what they're looking for
100%.
that particular day. You guys know the struggle as much as anybody from content.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm crying a little bit inside while I'm listening to you. So yeah.
So John, one of the reasons I asked Jake to put this podcast together was not to talk primarily about my opinions of knockoffs. People are very well aware of that opinion, but it was to figure out how I can get into new markets. So this thought occurred to me. I have a board behind my desk, and I look at it every day, and that board has a goal on it. It's to pay $1 million out to inventors within 5 years. We're well within, we're going to meet our goal. We're going to break that goal, more than likely within the next 2 years, right? We're a year and a half into it, and we're doing very, very well at that goal. And I'd like to get to the point where we're paying out over $1 million a year, which is really the ultimate goal, but this is the stepping stone to get there. And it occurred to me, I spend all of my time focusing on how can I make new products and how can I make my inventors more money selling those products. What didn't occur to me was when I heard your podcast last week, where you talked about knockoffs and the problems that you guys have as content creators in monetization, right? I've done a good job of helping inventors monetize their products with very easy routes to success, or limited pain routes to success, right? We take a lot of the stresses out as much as possible. But it occurred to me, if I can find and focus 20% of my attention on how to make people like everybody on this call more money by being able to monetize better through AbMat, then you guys are making money by selling my products, i.e. making my inventors more money, making my board go up, and making my goal shorter, right? So this is really what I wanted to do, because I don't focus on selling products. I focus on building new ones, right? I wish there was somebody in our company that was just so hot and heavy in the sales route that all he did was go around and call those brick and mortar stores, build out relationships with gyms, reach out to affiliates and talk to them about their pain points and what we can do to help. But apart from downloading Affiliate Pro onto our website and starting an affiliate page, I haven't done much to nurture it. And I want to know from you guys as content creators who have different markets, right? Who have different age groups and have different demographics that you appeal to because of your content. How can I do a better job of promoting AbMat products by promoting you. So I want to know what that looks like. Is there a company in mind that you know that is doing the best across the field right now in affiliate marketing?
Affiliate marketing is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if there's a. You got Jake. You go ahead.
yeah, let me start off. I think there's definitely some companies that do it better than others. And honestly, those are the ones that have risen over the past 5 years. Like, to be honest, the ones that have the good program set up have have um, have the have content creators attention, and they're the ones getting numerous hits monthly from most people. And I think if you're following along the last few years, you can probably answer. But I mean, the big thing is some have, and a lot of companies have started to catch on like this year, I would say. But they do a good job of telling you what's coming. They do a good job of reposting your stuff. They're not afraid to give you free materials. So I mean, it's really just basic stuff, but they make you feel like you're important. So it's really just like the attention to it, and usually they have somebody messaging you
You have
monthly,
representatives.
bi-monthly, on a regular basis. I think the big thing is just like the biggest thing for me, or the most interesting thing, is just like kind of the behind the scenes. Here's what's coming. Get ready for it. So it helps you plan. It feels like you're a part of the process. I think just while I'm speaking, I'll say like the biggest hurdle is definitely like I think there's only one person who gets like maybe a couple who get like flat fees to do anything. So it's 100% reliant for all of us on the affiliate links. And as you know, as just like a consumer of YouTube, a consumer of Instagram, like there's no incentive for you to actually go through those affiliate links. So like when like I think about like you saying, let's just say like AbMat sends a product to somebody, they do a highlight early in the morning, like you said, maybe somebody has 50,000 followers, 20, 10,000 people see it, one person buys, but then how many of them were ready to buy when that email came by? So like there's just there's a lot of like influence that is going on where there's no sales or there's no commissions paid off of that influence. Like there's no doubt that a lot of the garage gym accounts have like inspired people to start a home gym. Like there's no doubt in my mind that like people are scrolling Instagram over the last 10 years and they come across garage gym accounts on Instagram like, that's a good idea. And I bet you tens of thousands of people have created a home gym account because of Coop's page, my page, anybody here, like people just started home gyms because of Instagram. And I think like there's some people that see $0 because of the influence that they have. So I think I don't have an answer for you. Clearly, nobody does. But some sort of bridging the gap between just affiliate links and like overall influence is like what's needed. And it's also just like, yeah, I'm blabbering, but it's also like I think it takes. I think Dylan, I've probably had this discussion with you. It takes like 10 touch points before somebody decides to buy. and then ultimately one person gets that commission, or if anybody does. So those are my general thoughts.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jonathan.
I was just going to say, my opinion is, if you're a massive company, you can pay the company that owns Garage Gym Reviews to do a video of your product. But for everyone else, you need to do a full court press, especially if you're a smaller company. You need to get your product into the hands of, I hate to say the term influencers, but influencers to use your product and then to review your product, to jump on your affiliate promotion, as well as give you all of their content when they're done, so that your team can chop it up, can make stories out of it, can make posts, can make reels, can make sizzle reels, put it on Instagram, put it on TikTok, Facebook, throw it in your email newsletter, and really have a person dedicated to crafting social media, crafting your affiliate program, and getting your name brand out beyond what it's already well known for. Like inside the community, people know AbMat, but you need to find someone who's like reviewing supplements, some 20-year-old girl, and get her an AbMat, get her a whole bunch of a hip thrust pad, and get her reviewing it, because all of her friends are eventually going to have home gyms, and they're going to you want to get that information in their head. And again, full court press. You want to get on to like websites on like, those top 10 lists of like top 10 best AbMats, top 10 best hip thrust pads, and get on those lists, because people are going to be Googling it, and they don't know that you got ripped off by 1,000 different other companies. They just see that list. They're going to hit that buy it now button, and they own that for the rest of their life, and they're never going to buy another AbMat again. So you need to get so high up on that list that they see you. They kind of like force yourself in there and get beyond the big home gym reviewers like Coop, who's great. He's fantastic. But you send all of your products to him, he's going to make one video and badmouth half of your products. And, it's kind of like a waste. Whereas if you can find influencers, again, not even inside the home gym community, but everywhere, that's making good content, that's willing to work with you, because it takes a lot of time to make good content, and who's willing to give you their raw footage. And that's key, because then once you have that raw footage, you're able to craft that 1,000 different ways to Sunday. If you look at Micro Gains, like I sent him a bunch of my footage for the videos that I made for him, and he's chopped that up like 10 different videos, and every few weeks he releases a different one, because like you said, you send it out to 40,000 people, 4,000 are going to see it, and 40 are going to hit the like button.
Okay.
I got two things. The first thing is I agree 100% with what Jonathan just said. The second thing, you have to rank on Google, because that's how people find stuff. Bing, whatever search engine, rank on it. And then I just searched while I was listening to you guys, and I said, well, okay, I've got my YouTube shorts scheduled out for the next couple of days, next couple of weeks, actually. And I looked at it, there's like a product option to put like, what featured product is in this video. And so I just went ahead and I searched AbMat to see if it was possible. If I do a video talking, just because of how my home gym is set up, there's an AbMat right behind me. Mm-hmm. It's one of the ones you guys collaborated on with PRX Performance. Yep. And it's on the wall behind me in an AbMat holder, right? So people see it all the time. So if I wanted to, I could click and say, okay, products in this video, and click that. AbMat, all I did was put in AbMat in the search engine, and AbMat doesn't come up. I've got some results, which I'm not going to name, but some results popped up. AbMat's not one of them.
For other companies?
So, yeah. So what I would recommend is see whatever you need to do. I don't know what it is, but see whatever you need to do to make AbMat an option for people to select, because then we'll get paid through YouTube, right? To make that an option for people to select if they make a video that features any of your products, right? Because, there are times when I make a video and it's just a one-off, just whatever thing, and there's not really a product that I can associate with it. That's extra money for me. So you don't like my idea, Kurt? Anyway, but no, so it would be easy. Like, okay, I made this video. It's a minute long, 30 seconds, 45 seconds long. Like I just did a hub lift, right? There's nothing in that video that I could link on as a product. And because it's just not available, it's just not, I looked. and I would be getting a little bit more money because you get a little bit of additional commission from it. I'd get more money for the same video. So that's something that you can do that won't really take any extra effort from your company, that will increase your visibility. The second thing is, I mean, I think UGC content is huge, like what Jonathan was talking about, right? User generated content. Because sometimes I could make, I mean, if I made a video and I don't have to edit it, you can have it. You know, I mean, you pay me a little bit of money because my time is still worth something, but you can have the video, you can use it as often as you want and whatever you want, because I may make something that doesn't fit my channel.
Yeah.
But it's got your product in it. I'm like, boom, yeah, of course you can have it, you know. And there is a thriving economy of people, of creators out there who would be happy to make user generated content for you that you can put on your channel or your YouTube channel or whatever. And all you guys have to do is edit it however you want in a way that fits you. And it's just a struggle. And I like, one thing I will say is I commend you for reaching out to us, because it's tough to get in front of sponsors, man. I remember we used to do live streams of like powerlifting competitions just because I want people to be able to see entertaining stuff. Like if I'm lifting in the gym, sometimes I want to put a powerlifting meet on while I'm lifting, right? And so we'd run the live stream and I would beg companies and say, hey, look, pay me a little bit of money and I will run your commercial during the breaks that will inevitably come up during this sporting event. You're going to, at that time, I say, I'm going to guarantee you're going to get at least 1,300 to 1,500 views, because people are going to want to watch. There's 1,400 people in the competition. Every one of them has a mom.
Yep.
She's going to watch just whatever, right? Okay. And she's going to watch the whole day until little Johnny's done competing. So she's going to see your commercial multiple times. And I would often get crickets in my emails.
Yep.
I'm like, no interest. So I think we need to, I mean, I've got some rants about just home gym content in general. Jonathan and I have ranted to each other before, but we're just like, you know, in terms of quality of content. But I think that there are things, concrete things that a company like AbMat that's interested in not only growing their brand to benefit, you know, obviously the families of the people who work for you, but also the creators, but also that benefits our community. And I think that there are ways, really concrete ways to do that.
Okay. That's interesting. I had a conversation today on actually a gentleman reached out to me who runs the National Strongman Convention Corporation events.
The what?
National Strongman Corporation.
Oh, okay. Strongman Core. Okay, yeah.
He asked me to donate some product for some commercial spots. I actually said yes, but he was throwing in some banners at the Arnold and a few other things. Like he's going to get some videos and send it to us for some content. So, you know, if he sends me 4 things in which I can post, there's value in that. You know, you know what your time's worth and how long it takes you guys to do a post. And it's occurring to me now that you guys I'm assuming that your monetization strategy with your content is very similar to mine with our Instagram and our ads, right? Though when we post something on our social that we worked really hard on for maybe days, hours, weeks, whatever it is, onto this one post, doesn't get a lot of likes, doesn't get a lot of engagement, doesn't turn into a lot of sales. But on our own channels where we send out when we post it onto our website, you know, i.e. your blogs or our YouTube channel or our email blast, we get a lot more in terms of sales. So, you know, I'd imagine your content that you guys create and post onto social media is more of a top of the line funnel, right? It's to build out your audience, to build out your YouTube following, it's to build out your blog followers, it's to build out your email list, which is much more monetizable. I mean, Jake, can you attest to that? I mean, you send out the...
Yeah.
Dylan froze.
Yeah,
you never know.
Oh, I'll wait till he gets back.
Don't wait, Jake. Go back. Make him watch the video. Just start talking, and he'll have to
That's
go back
hilarious.
and watch the video. It's an extra view.
That's hilarious.
I'll give him 1 minute.
Yeah.
Jake, time is precious, man. The clock is ticking. Let's go, Jake. People are watching this right now. They want to know what your response is going to be.
Oh, this is going to get edited out. Nobody will ever see this.
This won't
He's
see the
back.
light.
He's back.
Okay, quit. Stop talking about it. He's back now. He's back.
Oh, and John, I had looked up what I thought was AbMat on YouTube, but I hit the D instead of the B. and it popped up with this Indian dude's channel. And
Shout
I
out to
accidentally-
AdMat.
Yeah, so I
AbMat.
accidentally when I jumped down, I wasn't reacting to you. I had accidentally clicked on one of the videos, and it popped up,
That's
and
hilarious.
it was like Bollywood, and I was like, oh crap, like get out of here.
Nice. Hey, I'm big in certain parts of India. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny story about
Probably all of it.
AbMat
I've been to
is
India.
Hey, there you go.
when we started our Instagram page, we were AbMat_USA, and I bought AbMat from a guy named Abraham Matthew in India, and it was very difficult to communicate with him. But when he reached out, I was like, hey, this is kind of our company. We're trying to start. We were still really, really small at the time, and I asked him what he wanted for it. He was like, 20,000. I'm like, oh gosh, 20,000 what? And he's like, rupees.
Rupees.
I'm like, oh. What's that, like $400? He's like, yeah. It's like, sure. I was like, how do I get it to you? You got a Western Union? He's like, just send it in Bitcoin. I'm like, all right. So we figured out how to buy Bitcoin and send that over.
What was his AbMat?
Well, his name was Abraham Matthew. It was just his personal account, AB Matthew.
Oh, yeah. I got you. That's a weird and
That's
abbreviation.
But I still follow the
yeah.
guy. He's a cool dude.
All right. Well, yeah. So we lost Dylan for a minute.
Sorry about that.
Had some nice convo in between. But yeah, let me answer your question. So 100%, it is a funnel. So the way I look at it as at the very top is Instagram with 200,000 followers. I don't care about that number. Or I understand that the 200,000 is equal to, is probably as valuable as 1,000 blog followers. So like the funnel is 100% try to get more Instagram followers, but it's ultimately to get them to follow the blog and the newsletter, the podcast, and then all of those are kind of secondary. And then underneath is HomeGymCon. So hopefully you read enough blogs, you listen to enough podcasts, you're hit over and over and over all year. And where you're like, yeah, I should go to this convention. So yeah, that's 100% the
It's
funnel.
the evergreen content that you produce that truly has the value. The YouTube videos that have embedded links, the blog posts with click here now to buy that people get through their emails.
Correct. The valuable is the audience. The audience is the attention of the audience is the value.
Okay.
And I mean, there's not really incentive with Instagram to put a ton of energy into it simply because it's so tough to monetize it. So, Instagram for me essentially just functions so that if I reach out to somebody and say I want to interview them, they know I'm a real person. They're more likely to actually answer if I put a comment or something. Hey, I'd love to interview you. I'm going to send you a DM. Can you check it or whatever? And that's really what I get out of it. That's about it. It's an easy way to shout out somebody if they, buy a shirt or something.
Sure.
But the real value for me is the website and the YouTube channel.
So what if there was I'm just spitballing here, right? Because I'm trying to find creative ways to help you guys monetize while I monetize and everybody wins, right? What if we were to do something a little different than what people have done in the past, right? So what if I were to do everything that you said, Jake, take your advice on the companies that are doing it well, right? Have one of my representatives of the company reach out to everybody individually, form a relationship, give them what kind of heads up do they give you on new products? Is it a week, a month, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's more like just a monthly heads up as to what's coming next month. This is the big thing, but there's just general check-ins.
So I'll have a representative start reaching out to people. We'll go back to our affiliate pro, make sure that we're paying out a fair percentage. I'd assume you guys are more akin to send your affiliate links to some larger distributors to increase cart sizes. So I'm probably going to have to increase our percentages for initial launches, especially where it's easier to sell a product because it's unique, novel, it's sexy, new. So I'm going to have people start reaching out to each and every single one of you to let you know what new products are coming. Not monthly, but as new products are rolling out. I will send you all free samples. Anyone on this call that if you ever see anything on our site that you want to review, shoot me a text or you can DM me through Instagram, whichever you prefer. And I can send you some product. As long as you guys do something with it, you have my commitment to do that, right? And I think this might be cool, right? So if, let's just say, John, if I were to send you a product, right, and you were to do a review on the product, instead of just you posting it onto your blog or your website or your YouTube channel, what if you were to do all of that, and then we also take your review and we do an email blast with a review from the community, right, where you can share your insights, more intimate details than I would put into a product description page, and I embed your affiliate link into my email. Even though it's my email that's going out to my customers, you would still be compensated at a higher level to a larger audience by utilizing my email list. Also, you could put your own videos and your own channels to help promote your list. I think it would have a greater incentivization rather than, hey, I spent 12 hours putting together this thing for a split squat pad and I sold 12, but they're only $30 a piece and I only get 5% of that, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm trying to find a way to where I can put there's enough meat on the bone for you to be incentivized to put some effort in. And I think if we were to share channels, right, if I were to put your review into an email blast, because that's valuable to people, like you said, Jake, 10 touch points, one of them is going to be an outside review from probably somebody within the community that has value, right, that they know, they've seen, they trust, they know their face through their Instagram post. So here's what I'm willing to commit to all of you. I'm going to go back to our payout percentages and evaluate that, and potentially do something to where upon new releases, it's at a higher percentage than it is just standard throughout the year for a period of allotted time, so that your content can have a higher initial value. I will send you guys samples for whatever you like. Not every product, if it doesn't pertain to your audience, but if there's anything in particular that you guys want to try, reach out. You have my full commitment for free samples on that. And if you guys want to do reviews, so you guys do your long form content to put onto your YouTube, so Jonathan, when you post a YouTube video and you cut that up and turn it into 4 or 5 little Instagram posts, if it pertains to my product and that element, right, that little portion of it, send me a collab and we'll accept it. So not only will you see it on your page, you'll see it through my 50,000 followers as well. So I'm able to help give you guys access to my followers to help grow your channels, right, to increase your funnel size. And I can help you with adding some of my evergreen content into our higher intent customer portfolios through our email blast. Does that sound something like, is anybody doing that?
I don't think that anyone, sorry, Kurt. I just want to before we go too deep into this, I just want to say one more thing. Some of the other companies that are really good about the whole process is and I know your intent is this as well, but they don't force you. There might be this idea that influencers just getting paid to give good reviews. But no company in my 7 years has ever been only post it if it's good. Nobody is saying I think that's people are oh, reviewers are in the paychecks or are in the what's the word, pocketbooks or whatever. They're getting paid by these big companies, and that's why they're doing so well. That's not the case. I think as long as you go about this whole process, whereas you have complete freedom to do whatever content you want. I just want to make sure you do something. If you don't like it, please give us that feedback. So as long as you're emphasizing that, that's important as well.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I rarely ever see a review on social media of an influencer saying, I don't like this product or I really hated this piece of equipment, unless they're promoting a better alternative, right? Because at the end of the day, your content has to make you money, and you're not going to make money by telling 5 million people not to buy something, right?
You're not going to spend your time on something you don't like. That's the
precisely, unless you were giving them a different option. I don't like this bench because of this, and this reason, but I really like this one because it covered all the bases. I see those videos all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm perfectly open to you guys producing whatever content you like. All of you guys are unique and different in how you use products in your markets and demographics. So it's amazing to see what people use some AbMat products for after we launch them. We design everything to have one purpose and one intent, but some of our products have hundreds that I've seen in different variations and uses. So I can't imagine you guys would want to reach out to me for a free product if it didn't seem like something that you would want to use or try at least, or could see some value in. But yes, I am 100% in agreement with you. By no means does I want this to come off that AbMat's trying to dictate what it is that you guys say within your reviews, because that's the furthest thing from the truth. Our AbMat products are never done, right? When enough people say this element would make this product better, you know what we do? We make the product better. If enough people said this product's cool, but we would never use it, it usually doesn't sell very well, and we just stop selling it. So we're continually morphing as the information comes out, and it's hard, with AbMat particularly, because we're creating new classes of fitness equipment in some areas, right? We're creating there's nothing to compare it to in some areas. So you're really creating a market in first movers, and first movers don't always win. I know that, you know that. So we have to continue to innovate internally as we're trying to innovate externally as well. So yes, I'm in complete alignment with you on that, Jake.
Yeah, I think to actually add to that as well. So you talked about announcing when products are coming out. So one company that I work with that I think does a really good job on their affiliate relationships. What they do is it's not on a regular basis, but they do an actual like Teams style call, and it's put out to everybody that is aligned with that company. And they bring them on and they're like, hey, this is like the 200-yard view, the 100-yard view. This is what's on the horizon. And then there's a lot of why. So Dylan, you touched on that why being really important earlier. So why is the material that's used in an AbMat better? Because then you're arming us with the information. One of the things that I do for reviews, so I would also like to tag on that most of the time when I don't give a negative review of something, it's because I researched it super heavily before I purchased it with my money. So if I give a negative review on something, it's because I'm pretty ticked off that I just wasted however much money on something for my personal gym. But like what sets that apart? Like why is closed cell, open cell foam, the education piece is really important. You highlighted earlier that you have a very educated market, and you do in a lot of ways, but in a lot of other ways, I was reading through all the descriptions on AbMat, and it talks about the features, what they do, but I'm a nerd, and I want to know, like, why is your nylon or whatever, why is it better? Why are your zippers better? They're not YKK. Why are they better? So that's where I'm at with it.
So when I send you what's coming up, I will also send you I'm going to find a way to create some type of portfolio, Google Doc or something, to where I can have all upcoming products with our content as well, right? So we'll have our videos uploaded to it, our photos from our photo shoot, and our copy that's going to be released onto our website. And if you guys see anything, want to add to it, I'm going to start sending you some new products as they are released, to give you an opportunity to put some of your own opinions into the product description pages if you feel as if there's anything in which we're missing, or something that you want to see that I didn't provide to you guys. So we could find a way to create some sort of group community folder which you can all get access to, which will have all of that content and all the photos and everything that you need to be armed with all the information that I'm capable of providing you for you guys to do what you guys do. That's good advice. I like that.
My only suggestion is what I said earlier. It's like, figure out how you guys can get your products in the Google ecosystem so that it's clickable. Because I did one of those head-to-head comparison reviews, AbMat versus one of the knockoffs, and it came out last 2022, and if I could have just clicked on a thing and said, hey, so let me back up a little bit. YouTube is moving towards removing the links in the description.
Really?
Okay. Keep in mind that their intention is for you to be able to watch YouTube like on TV, right? It's not as easy to click. They've already removed the whole description, link in the description for shorts. So that's what I'm saying. It's like but they will show you this is the product. These are the products in this video. You can click on it and go straight to that product, to purchase a product. And from the groups that I'm in, that are specifically about how to do well on YouTube, they're talking about that YouTube wants to move towards removing links in the description because they don't want you to leave YouTube.
Like TV, yeah.
If you click a link, you're going to leave the platform. And then that hurts them because you might not come back. Well, that interferes with their ad revenue from the next video. Sure. But if you can stay on YouTube and you purchase through YouTube, then they're going to get something from that, and there you go.
I know why that we're not on there though, because they're probably just taking that information from companies that are buying Google Shopping ads. Where you show up on the shop links. Yeah. And I've never advertised through Google before or through YouTube. It's not something I've ever tried. That's definitely I'd call that a low hanging fruit.
So I just say if it was possible. So like that video I just told you about, it's got about 4,900 views. All right. Not one of those people has the option to click and just easily just go straight to the product. And I mean, God willing, it continues to grow and somebody else sees it again. And then, that's what I meant when I said, like, some of the notes I took down for this call, I said, people want what's readily accessible. So let's make it easy for them to find your stuff. One of the analogies I always use is, if there's probably the world's best swordsman probably lived in Japan in some small village and nobody will ever hear of him because he didn't know how to get his swords to market. Yeah. And it's like, let's remove some of the barriers and meet people where they are. I believe there's a way I don't do TikTok. I'm not into dancing on camera, but apparently you can shop on TikTok. My wife has purchased stuff on TikTok. You can shop.
It's called TikTok.
Wow, TikTok. I know your views on. I do not. I know your views on TikTok and
suck it, G.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I said I don't do TikTok, right? And so, but I know that people can shop on TikTok. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, where is the demographic that I'm going for? You said it's 18, you younger people, right? Well, where are younger people gathering? Where are they looking for stuff? And I think that's, like you said, the thing about being on YouTube as a clickable thing is low hanging fruit. I mean, I've got other ideas that I'm happy to pitch to you guys too, but that just to me is the simplest thing for,
You're right. You're totally right. That could probably be huge. I know what it was like when we first started our first website. I know what it was like when we first got on Amazon. So
yeah. So
Keith, I want to hear from you. I want to make sure that you're not stalled out.
So
over there.
I feel like I might be on the wrong podcast. I'm not necessarily. I don't consider myself an influencer. I don't have any, link in the bio. Click my stuff. I'm just a home gym guy that likes to build up the community. One thing I do have for Dylan though, I'll kind of take the whole thing in a completely different direction as far as like, I'm only if I already have something that's similar to that, I'm not going to replace it unless I consider it's better or I can customize it. What kind of options do I have at AbMat to customize stuff? Colorways or getting my gym name like laser etched, like I have like 3 foam rollers. I'm not going to buy a new foam roller unless it's like significantly better, or I can put my gym name on it or something like that. Like, do you have any options like that?
So yeah, I'm actually glad you asked that. We made a really weird purchase, which was a $100,000 UV printer. That's a 4x8 flatbed printer that we have just finally figured out how to really implement it into our product offering, right? We started off with our first thing, which you've probably seen before, some of our custom root boxes. So our plyometric boxes, because it's so good at printing on wood and it doesn't require a lot of white layered backgrounds, we started doing custom root boxes as our first ever custom option. So we do have the capability to customize almost anything. I am working with some companies from HomeGymCon right now to see what we can do about utilizing our UV printer to potentially customize some leather goods or some other wooden platforms, if you will, while working in collaboration with these companies, which I think could make some lower cost options than some CNC routing, custom made engraving. for them and also for you guys, and also to allow AbMat to have some type of presence within those two commodities in which we're not currently selling ourselves. So I do want to customize more, right? There's obviously a lot of the Model T approach with Henry Ford into what we do. Everything's black, and you can get it into one color as long as it's a black kind of situation, because we are a mass producer, right? And it makes more sense to have my logo on it than yours if I want somebody to see it in your video, recognize it, and buy it from me, right? So I have done custom AbMats, and we're going to start doing a lot more of them. It's something that we really only offer to like wholesalers or companies that are reselling hundreds or buying 50 of them at a time. One-off AbMat customizations, it's a little, it's a lot of work, for us to upload an artboard, to implement it into our printer, take one panel, go out, and we have to. I'm not sending my sewers home with 500. I got one that they need to sew in that day. So there's a lot more implements to go into it. So the reason why we haven't rolled out customizations across the board on all of our products is mostly we're not sure whether or not it'll be cost prohibitive, right? Because you can buy an AbMat right now for $35, but would you buy a customized one with whatever the heck you want on it for $75? I don't know. But that's about what we would have to charge in order to do that type of customization work, because we have over 2 to 3 hours into each one, additional almost, more like an hour or two. But there's a lot of, it comes with a lot of different efforts. But so what we're going to start doing now is we're going to, continue doing our custom root boxes, because we've set up that process really well. And based off of what you're buying, you're either paying $275 for the cream of the crop best plyo box out there, hybrid wooden box, foam corners, or it's $350 with two-sided customizations, whatever you want. A full colored edge to edge, I'll put anything you want on it. I made one today that was a Where's Waldo depiction. Why somebody wanted a Where's Waldo page on their plyo box, I don't know, but I thought it was kind of fun.
That's a lot of image,
anyways,
I imagine.
So we are going to be rolling out more small, limited runs of customizations, right? So we've done some custom releases of our AbMats. You probably saw last year we did a line of Frankenstein coffin benches, and we did some Frankenstein AbMats. We're doing that again this year with a different creature.
Cool.
So that's a little foreshadowing, if you like. We're going to be releasing that on Friday the 13th, actually, which we have this October, which should be a lot of fun.
Send us an email.
Yeah, we'll send you an email. We'll send you guys an email on that one for sure. So we want to do more customizations, and I'm open to doing customizations. We got to get better at implementing them onto our website and streamlining it. We just hired a new guy that's going to be running our custom line for us. Because historically, in the past, it was I get an email, I forward it to Austin. Austin's got 50 hours of work that he's trying to fit into a 40-hour work week, and he has to find the time to personally go out and do all the customization work. But we're getting better at it. We're becoming more of an expert with the machinery and the materials in which we can print on. And I look forward to this next year having much more low-cost customizable options on our website for our product portfolio. So, yeah.
So what I hear you saying is at next year's HomeGymCon, you're going to have a booth where people can get their logo added to AbMat products while they wait.
No, that machine is large and heavy.
Your logo added while you wait.
I will take your order and your money if you like, and I'll get to you in about 7 to 14 business days. Yeah. So I don't remember if you guys HomeGymCon last year, you saw our Rubox wall with a whole bunch of different strange depictions of custom options in which we had.
Yeah, that was cool.
So, we're looking to do a lot more of that, and we've seen just with our Ruboxes. I sell a substantial amount more of customized root boxes than I do just the generic bland ones now. But that's something more of it's a statement piece. It's a large, imposing product that takes up a big surface area, and it's really a great billboard for brands. For instance, Coach Carp, he was one of the first ever recipients of a custom box. He's using it in all of his videos. Matt Pendergraph uses it as a platform. Kelly Starrett with the Ready State films all of his podcasts on them. So there's
Yeah.
they're recognizable. So yeah, we will be doing some more.
Well, I think it'd be cool. Like I'm thinking about like someone like Keith who has a clear theme within his gym. Like if you could buy a package, like if you could have an AbMat, if you had like a package of an AbMat Rubox, and then I don't know, even if you get like a banner and this and that, like a 5 package thing for $600 with your custom logo on it. Like I can see a lot of people going for that.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So one of the things that I want to do is rather than discount our products, provide something extra, right? So if somebody's looking to do a big, large bulk order, I'd rather give them free customization on everything than a 15 or 20% discount, right? Because it's more revenue for us, and it's a better perceived product offering for them. So yeah, that's interesting. We've tried doing some large scale packages for the CrossFit Games, but there was no customizable options for it. So that might be a really cool angle to do that. So that's a good idea, Jake.
Write that down. All right. Well, guys, I just want to check in. It's almost 10 o'clock. I don't think we're going to do any other topics. Anything else on this subject before we kind of close it? No? Well, Dylan, dude, we'll need to have you back on one of these roundtables. That was awesome.
Thank you very much, all of you, for taking your time to do this, because this was really a learning experience for me. I didn't have any intention of doing this as a podcast. I just said, Jake, can we get some people together so I can learn?
Yeah,
and he said, can we air it? I said, sure. But content's content. But
Exactly.
So thank you.
This would have definitely not been as much fun if it wasn't a podcast. Like, I don't know, like just talking on a Zoom call is not as fun as actually knowing it's a podcast and it's going to come out. Like, that's just, I don't know. Podcasting is my favorite pastime.
Yeah, everyone just kind of brings their A game.
But you know what would have happened is if even we had done that, we would have ended up saying, man, we should have done this as a podcast because all this cool stuff we said, But yeah.
Yeah, people like hearing this sort of stuff. At least, like the audience of this podcast is, Dylan may not love to hear this, but a lot of it is gym equipment, everyone in the industry. So like they should get value of this brainstorm, which ultimately raises the bar for everybody. And then a lot of I think other people just like hearing this, what's this phrase, how the soup's made or whatever. What is that?
The sausage?
Oh, the sausage is made. Yeah.
The soup for you, Joe.
How the borscht is brewed. Sure.
One last thing. I do want to say I think it's really cool how even content creators, even though basically you guys are going after the same market, same audience, and you guys in some way or another are in competition with each other for sales, I think it's really cool how you all work together and you collaborate and you lift each other up and you share your knowledge bases and your platforms together. So I think that's really cool in what you guys are doing. So I commend you for that.
I mean, I honestly don't see anybody on here as like competition with me.
Sure.
I think we're all competing to. I don't mean it like that. No, I mean
I'm kidding.
Seriously. I mean it like. I think we are together competing against muscle and strength, and you name the outlet that's promoting the fitness lifestyle, but going to a gym as opposed to being a gym owner. What I call leasing space at a public facility. We're together showing people, hey, you can do this. You can be an owner. You can own your fitness instead of leasing it from someone else, right? And so I think that we're all collaboratively making that happen for a lot of people in different demographics. Because I'm not going to reach the 20-year-old. I'm not going to reach the 18-year-old. I'm just not going to do it, because my youngest son is older than that. So it's like, I don't really relate to them. You know what I mean? So I need these guys. And I love having the conversations with you guys, with all of them, because it makes me think. It forces me to kind of up, so now I came up with 5 different content ideas just through this conversation, So thank you, actually.
And it's just fun. I think everyone who joins the roundtables always has a good time. So, and yeah, we get along, and yeah, so and we're learning as we're going. Everyone is kind of, so conversations like this help everybody. So, all right, well,
Mr. B says you have to have a quick ending, and it is past my bedtime, so I'm checking out.
I gotta go squat.
all right.
I want to be strong like Kurt.
I got an early wake up call to get to the gym. It's leg day
Yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah.
so hey, all of you take care and be well.
All right, I'm going to close it.
Later. Hey, wait. Congratulations on 4 million views, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Balling.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else for the listeners, Jake?
15,000 videos. So do the math on how many.
There we go.